I also have a vlog coming out soon, and just, yeah, I don't know, I'm in full production mode right now with making videos.
I'm in full production mode.
Cold coffee. This is my biggest beer review ever! Not really. So I thought that I had probably like 25 beers to talk about today. It's actually a pretty normal sized beer review, and this is probably from about the past month and a half since my last little roundup that I did. And I'm excited to talk about it, but I do want to just be frank and say that some of them I just don't remember all that well at all. Alright, enough of this nonsense. Let me drink a little more coffee. Okay. The first beer I want to talk about is Deep Ellum Brewing's Lateral Haze Hazy IPA. Hazy IPAs are everywhere these days, and this one was pretty much right in line with how I feel about most of them, which is that it's okay. I liked that this beer had a lot of pineapple flavor. I feel like usually with IPAs, when they go to a place of citrus, it's like a orange or a lemon or grapefruit place. It's very much less likely to go to a pineapple place. But this had a decent amount of pineapple flavor, and I appreciate that. I think pineapple works well in beer, and I wish that it was more common. The thing that I didn't like about this beer is that it's only 7.5% ABV, but it tasted very, very alcoholic. But overall, like I said, it was okay. 3 out of 5 stars. Boom! 1 down. Next, let's just briefly touch on this Dogfish Head beer. So I did a Dogfish Head thing in one of my Thirsty Thursday videos, and it wasn't that bad. So I was like, let's give Dogfish Head another go, because as I have stated many times in the past, I actually really hate Dogfish Head. I think that they do gimmicks for the sake of doing gimmicks without delivering on those gimmicks, and what do you know, this beer did that. So this is a hazy IPA brewed with malted oats, rolled oats, naked oats, and oat milk. And let's rip the band-aid off and say that I don't really know that I would have known any of that if it wasn't printed on the can. Now, yeah, okay, oats are grain, beer is made with grains. Yeah, maybe you're not supposed to know that it's oat-like, but you'd think that it would be adding something or doing something. But all I feel like it really added was like a creepy smoothness and a creepy sweetness, and none of it felt super oat-like or anything like that. It just, yeah, I'm gonna stop rambling about it. I just thought it was okay. It was an okay hazy IPA. It was like 2 out of 5 stars and a gimmick for no reason. This actually isn't beer. This is rosé water. This is a Trader Joe's exclusive, I believe. And what is it? All right, so it is rosé mixed with sparkling water. And it is both not good and somehow enjoyable at the same time. Why is it good? Well, it is wine watered down with sparkling water. And sometimes I just don't like the taste of wine that much, so it's like watering it down. Why is it bad? It is wine watered down with sparkling water. It can only be so good. It's only 69 calories, which I guess is a big plus for some people, and I don't know, I would give it like a 3 out of 5 stars. It's a little pricey. Like, I had old wine in my refrigerator that after I had this, was like, oh, let me just mix that like 2-week-old wine with sparkling water and revive it a little bit, and it tasted exactly like this. So it shouldn't work, but it does, but it also, you're drinking it and you know it's not that good. It's like you come to an understanding with yourself when you're drinking this, and you know it's as good as it can be, but it's kind of gross. This is the Neon Shades Sour Ale brewed with passion fruit, orange, and guava, so it's a POG. I've tried many sour POG beers. This is pure swill. It is kind of like a sour ale mixed with the smell of old person home and mothballs. I don't know how else to describe it, and I don't know how they managed to evoke that flavor in a beer, but they did. And if this beer was called Old Person Home and Mothballs, I would give it a 5 out of 5, because that's what it tasted like. Let's talk about a beer that's very middle of the road, and this is the Sierra Nevada Summer Break Session Hazy IPA. I've been seeing session beers pop up everywhere, and I finally figured out what that means. I had in my mind that it meant like it was a limited run, but a session beer is actually a beer that's brewed to have a lower ABV so that you can consume more in one session of drinking. This is only 4.6% ABV. It's good, but my complaint with this one is the same complaint I have for other session beers that I've tried. They just are lacking a little bit in the flavor department. It just kind of tastes like a frothy standard IPA that just doesn't have like a lot of punch to it. But it's enjoyable, it's very drinkable. Like I said, I've bought my fair share of these recently, so there's something about it that I like, but I would just give it 3 out of 5 stars. It's easy to drink, but is it wowing me? No. Let's just briefly talk about Austin Beer Works Heisenberg. This is a crystal Weizen, so it is basically exactly the same as a Hefeweizen, except it is filtered differently. It tastes like a Hefeweizen, and I guess that's really all I have to say about it. 3 out of 5 stars, fine. So I tried 3 beers from Martin House that I want to talk about. Let's talk about Violet, You're Turning Violet. This is a blueberry sour IPA. I want to talk about this one first because I think it was the least successful of the 3 Martin House beers that I tried. I just didn't think it tasted like an IPA. It has plenty of blueberry flavor, it's plenty sour, but as far as incorporating any elements of an IPA, I don't really know that it did. This is like a 2 out of 5 stars. Next, let's talk about the Saint Rita Margarita Sour with strawberries. This surprised me. I really didn't expect to enjoy it, and I did. And the reason I did is that it really punched you in the face with strawberry. And that is rare. I feel like often when beers say they're going to have some strawberry flavor, it's hard to find, especially in a beer that also has other fruit kind of going on there. But this one had a lot of strawberry flavor, and it was extremely sour. So I give them props for really going there. It was enjoyable, it was fun to drink. Not my favorite Martin House, but it was like a 4 out of 5 stars. I think they did a good job with this one. And then my favorite of the Martin House that I tried is the honeysuckle lactose sour with orange, honey, and vanilla. I loved this. I thought it was so enjoyable. You got a little bit of the citrus early on, and then just this beautiful like vanilla bean finish, and the lactose worked really well with it because when you're pairing it with the vanilla, it feels really natural, because I think that vanilla feels kind of smooth usually anyway, because vanilla is usually in something creamy. So incorporating the lactose with the vanilla finish here, it felt right, it felt natural, it felt good, and it was just so springy and refreshing, and I love the can, and everything about this beer I liked. So this was like a 5 out of 5 for me, one of my favorite Martin House beers that I've tried recently. I'm like holding it. This one, I don't even know why I have this up here because I don't remember a goddamn thing about it. Maui Brewing Co.'s Big Swell IPA. I had this beer after I'd had a few other beers, and I don't remember specifics. This is Real Ale Brewing Co.'s Citrus Got Real Hazy Pale Ale, I guess? It just says Hazy Pale. I think I need some more coffee. So, Real Ale Brewing. I don't typically like Real Ale's IPAs. I think that they all kind of taste the same, but this one was good. So it is very citrusy with especially a focus on lemon. It's almost a little lemonade-y without going too sweet, and it still has, to balance that sort of citrus flavor, it still has everything else like an IPA would have. It's like a little piney, and everything feels really in balance. Everything's working in this one. I bought several of these. I was gifted one from my coworker Chris Hammer, so thank you for the free beer. I would give this a 4 out of 5 stars. And last but certainly not least, let's talk about Maine Beer Company's Spring IPA. So Maine Beer Company makes Lunch, which is everyone's favorite beer right now, but this one I actually liked more than Lunch. I thought this was such a perfect representation of springtime in a beer. It is floral, and not to sound like a complete lunatic, but almost has like a very white flower kind of taste to it. And I don't even know if I know what I mean by that, but I hope that you know what I mean by that when I'm saying it. It just tastes like flowers, but in like a really good way, like delicate flowers. I think what Maine Beer Company does is so great. Like, they just put out such good beer. I haven't had anything from them that hasn't been stellar. And this one especially just did it for me. I think if you have access to this, please go try it. I liked it. I would love anyone else I know to try this so they can tell me if they like it better than lunch too, because I think that it's better than lunch. But we've come to the end. I feel like I've lost a lot of steam there on the last two there. So thank you for watching. I'm so excited to continue making these videos for you. It's so fun to look back, and it's crazy to think that I have, one, almost been doing this for a year, but also two, haven't even been doing this for a year. Very strange, and I'm excited to make more stuff for you. I want to be present here, but as I said, got a lot of stuff going on, so I'm gonna pop in from time to time when I can and keep checking back, and thank you for watching. Please give this video a thumbs up, you know, share it with a friend, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. So I'm gonna go. Bye!